I mean, the great thing about adaptations is you have an amazing body of work there, sitting there, and it's completely realised. It allows you to sort of springboard into an idea for a film in a completely different way, compared to sort of sitting down with a pen and a blank piece of paper.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think in a lot of ways it's more labour intensive, and in some ways it's a lot more difficult. But it's fantastic to be able to actually bring to the screen other people's work, really, and I find it just suits the sort of person that I am a little bit better, in the way that I sort of approach filmmaking. And it also, when you get to the process of making the film, it's fantastic to hit the rehearsals room and discuss the book and what's different between the book and the screenplay that I've written with the actors, which gives you a head start there as well as all the crew too. I mean, if they've read the book, you can sort of platform the film in a different kind of way. It's always about story, isn't it? So story wins hands down. Doesn't matter whether the book's. Think about, what was it, Babe? I think Babe was based on about a 50 or 60 page children's, I don't know, it's a tiny little story, that'd been around for, years and years, decades, so it's about story, really. If you find something that you really can see on the screen, then you have to go through a process of checking with yourself to really see whether it can be screenplayed and whether it's actually going to work as a film. And I've learnt that the hard way, in some ways. I mean, I've been involved with about 4 novels. I've got 2 films made. I think the last film I made was, a really difficult film to bring to the screen for all sorts of reasons. That's probably why, doing something like this workshop that I'm doing, at least you can sort of go through and tick the boxes, and figure out whether what you're looking at is actually suitable or not from the mistakes that I've made with my own career. If you have a protagonist that hasn't got a clear goal, and then right at the end doesn't achieve that goal, and the goal isn't sort of visible, as in it might be a more internal goal, that makes it difficult, and it possibly, a lot of people say those sort of films don't work. And I've made a film like that and it didn't work. So you learn the hard way. But yeah, you need to be careful. I tried to do an adaptation of a local writer's book that was a wonderful take on Perth, the sort of underbelly of Perth, and I could never get that right. And there were so many fantastic ingredients in that book that I could never strip it back and get it right. Screenplays are formulaic. They're not literary pieces. They're sort of like a literary piece. You get to the end of it and you read it and it's fantastic. But you get to the end of a screenplay and you've still got the camera coming next. So it's just sort of an interim form. So you can't be a poet as a screenwriter in a lot of ways. And so you just have to be very careful of that, and the fact that screenplays have to be very particularly, they have to be have a very clear dramatic structure. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, Peter Weir always used to say, and I remember him saying it at a conference, directors conference, it's great to just practice writing scenes. He always used to practice writing scenes, and not necessarily in order. You know, just anytime, anywhere. Just practice your skill of writing scenes. I think the more you write, the more you understand how to actually write, and it's a really unusual sort of form, because obviously you should just be putting on the page what you can see and what you can hear, and not explaining things. You certainly take into account whatever book you've decided to screenplay. I think you're drawn to the spirit of it, so you want to stay true to that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of slashing and burning, because it's funny when people compare books and films, and it leads to obviously lots of very interesting discussions if you've seen a film and read the book. But a book can sort of open up dreams, flashbacks, different sort of senses, emotions, all sorts of things, and it doesn't have to be 100 minutes long, as an experience. So it's so different. It's kind of crazy to even compare, Yeah.